Alrighty, United Rogue, welcome back. This is our last series of the night, and it's going to be an absolute banger. We've got Buffalo taking on Vancouver, and I think someone in the chat has already mentioned it. Both teams have to sweep each other in order to stay in contention for the playoffs. So that's going to be an interesting one. We still got Atlantis on the desk. How's it going, Atlantis?
Is going definitely going to be an interesting match because both teams have that pressure of having to sweep the other, which means both are going to probably be playing pretty aggressive here.
Yeah, this is going to be an all-out slugfest, especially knowing that losing one game is, well, it just makes it so that your contention is potentially over. So that's a lot on the line, a lot of pressure to be had on the shoulders of either team, which makes it interesting because we don't really have a best of 5 anymore, do we? We kind of just have a best of 1 Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, it really comes down to which team can hold back and play that defense well enough to keep the other team from taking a game away from them. But you never know. I mean, both teams could be playing absolute wonderful Rocket League, or this first game could just kind of be feeling each other out, which I have a feeling is going to be the case given this situation.
I don't know though. I feel like in this is a very peculiar situation because you don't really have the time to adjust. You don't really have the time to feel each other out. You gotta go out there. You gotta go full send, and we'll see if either team can get the job done. Game number 1. Here we go. Both teams. Bit of a rough start for them in Group C. It's their time to shine now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how the rest of this game's gonna go because this did just start. Pressure coming out heavy from Vancouver though to start it off.
Yeah, Vancouver is going to be looking for a quick first goal. Buffalo on the defensive holding on, and it's, oh no, it's off the crossbar. Still awkward here for Buffalo as they manage to stay alive. Peachy, a little bit of possession. Past one, looking to take out Turbid on his way out. And actually, Golf has managed to take out a player of his own. It is chaos and mayhem in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we expected coming into this, knowing that both teams have to get the sweep, and they're definitely showing that they want that sweep coming out right off the bat. Shots coming out for both teams. Peachy's gonna sneak that one in top right. What a shot.
Yeah, brilliant placement here from Peachy. Turbid. Bit of a tough spot for him backwards, and he's not going to be able to make that stop. Vancouver now down by 1. This kickoff is going to be everything for them. When there's this much on the line in a single game, the nerves are going to be hitting. And that doubles, quintuples when you've got a goal against you, Vancouver. See if they can figure it out now.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver putting the shots back and trying to get the opportunity, just unable to hit it. Buffalo holding on the defense really well, and that counterattack is just lethal.
Ooh, that one's gone slightly wide. Vancouver, oh no! An absolutely abysmal touch. I mean, there's no way to sugarcoat that. That was a mistouch off the near post. And Buffalo more than happy to take away a second goal. Got themselves a nice lead to work with. Vancouver, they can't say the same.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunate situation. Golf manages to turn it around and make the play off of it. It is going to show that, again, as I said earlier, the counterattack coming off of Buffalo is quite lethal.
Right on, Vancouver. Now got to figure it out. They're in the woodwork, but still looking for a way to come out on top. Golfed. He's next up to the batting play. A little bit of boost for him to continue off the corner. And that one is not going to be punched in. Vancouver holding on by a thread with Buffalo. This has so far been relentless pressure from them. Vancouver now looking to turn things around, but that possession is short-lived. Vancouver once again starting to fizzle out.
Yeah, Vancouver just cannot seem to find the pressure to break through. And Buffalo, they've got the defense, they've got the offense. They are looking like they definitely want this series, and they want it quick.
Halftime now for Vancouver to figure it out. Buffalo continue to mount up some more pressure. Peachy got a ton of boost to work with in this midfield, but that touch is not going to do him many favors. Gets by his Octane, and now Golf is looking to do it himself. Slender to the corner. Chris Trying to pick up the piece as the passing plays are beginning to develop for Vancouver. They're looking for these openings, looking for these lanes to work with, but Buffalo is having to put in overtime to cut down those lanes. It's awkward here on the near post once again in Vancouver. Yet, oh, so close to that first goal.
Buffalo working the overtime, but they're working it well. And I mean, they are just holding every shot coming out from Vancouver right now. And if Vancouver can't get a shot, and as I'm saying that, Turbid able to sneak it in just behind PG.
Once again, fantastic placement here from Vancouver, from Turbid. And I think that's been the name of the game for the most part. Buffalo has been looking for these excellently placed shots as well. Vancouver gonna have one to their name, and now trailed by 1. Minute and change. See what they got left in the bag, but that kickoff is anything but good for Vancouver. They poke it away to the corner for now, but for a split second, oh, never mind. It's gonna be good for the third anyways.
Slender gonna sneak that in just between the post and Turbid, and that's a rough situation to be in. Turbid already low on boost and not quite able to get the save.
Not quite. Vancouver in a tough spot now. They need this sweep desperately, and I don't think Buffalo are going to let them have it. Minute and change. It's all on the line for Vancouver. Their playoffs contention, and almost another goal. That one ricochets off the crossbar. Buffalo continue to build up even more pressure. Now looking for another possession. They've got the boost advantage as well, but I don't know if they're going to be able to make the most of it. It's a tight battle in the midfield.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo is playing a wonderful midfield and even backfield defense. They're keeping Vancouver from really amounting any real pressure on their side of the field. Even when Vancouver does, they're right back to clear it out. Golf taking the shot and just putting it right in that bottom right. 4-1 for Buffalo. We have seen this number a lot tonight.
Yeah, we really have, haven't we? Like 3 times in a row in the previous series, which ended in a sweep. And Vancouver, well, they're the ones who need the sweep tonight, and it looks like they are not on the correct end of things, which is quite unfortunate for them. It does mean that if they don't pull off a miracle in the next couple of seconds, their contention will be at an end. And Buffalo is playing pretty well. I mean, this is pretty fantastic from them. Phenomenal amounts of pressure, and almost able to sneak in a 5th goal. That one off the corner. It's looking dicey here for Vancouver.
Yeah, Buffalo is really looking hard to find that 5-1 right now, but they don't really need to. They can just kind of play it back, and looks like they're kind of transitioning to that style now, where they know they just need to hold off Vancouver for 15 seconds. They are going to let one go. Turbid is going to get the shot on that angle out of the corner, but honestly, at this point, I don't think it's really going to matter.
Is it too little too late? I don't know. It's a good question. I think Vancouver, if they have any sort of kickoff strategy here, then, and if they're able to execute, that's going to be a big, but for this corner kickoff, that's a pretty tough ask, and they go for the standard kickoff looking for a big win. Vancouver, don't think they're going to find it here. Turbid flip reset, no cigar, and Buffalo going to walk out with game number 1, and in doing so, are going to shut down Vancouver's playoff contention dreams.
Yeah, I mean, that's just an unfortunate situation for Vancouver. They tried, they fought, but Buffalo's defense was just unbreakable that game for the most part. There were a couple shots that just slid by them, but whenever they could, they'd have that defense set solid, and as soon as they'd get that counterattack, it was in the net of Vancouver. And if they want to even have a chance taking the series, they can't let those counterattacks be that lethal.
Yep, so now the question remains, what exactly are Buffalo playing for? Do they have a route into the playoffs? And I'm doing some quick math here to looking at the standings right now, and it looks like Buffalo might be in the same spot as Vancouver. If they sweep this series and their next one, there is a shot at making it into the playoffs. And so it's not out of the question for Buffalo, but don't quote me on that, because I've just looked at the standings barely, and I'm still making sure what I said is absolutely correct. But there's a world where Buffalo still have something to play for if they come out with a sweep Atlantis.
Yeah, and I mean, if that does happen to be the case, this is going to get very interesting because Buffalo's showing right now that they are a really solid team and that they have what it takes. to take at least one game with a really solid standing. If they can keep this up for the rest of this series and sweep this series, then they still have to sweep a second series. That is a lot of work.
Quite a bit. And I am getting news that it looks like Buffalo is out of contention. It looks like they lost 2 series already. It's just that maybe something is not updated on my end, which does mean that Buffalo is out for the count. Which kind of begs the question. Buffalo, at this point, are playing for pride more than anything, which is kind of scary, because this is where they're going to go all out.
Yeah, I mean, even with them being out, they have just prevented Vancouver from progressing much more.
Right on. Buffalo. Pride on the line. And a couple of minutes to burn here to get this first goal. It's a big one for Buffalo as they look to go up quick in the midfield. Turbid, he's there as well. Chris, a tough angle, and he's not going to sink that one in. Vancouver's so close to redemption, but not quite hitting the mark in Buffalo. Another shot for them. This one turned away as well. It is chaos over inside the box, but Vancouver managed to stay alive.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver, they've definitely stepped it up a little bit since the later stage of game 1. But Buffalo, they're still holding them off. They're still keeping the opportunities for Vancouver to get a goal very limited. And at the rate this is playing, an unfortunate team bump might not quite able to turn into a goal. But at the rate this is going, this is still anyone's game. It really comes down to who scores this first goal could be the decider of the entire game.
Yeah, Vancouver's fate has already been decided, but the fate of the series has not. Buffalo continue to march onwards. Got to hit halftime in regulation for Game 2 with Buffalo leading in the series and Vancouver still running a little bit dry, whereas Buffalo has been looking the more dominant here in Game 2, and they are going to prove me correct with Peachy. There's a first.
Yeah, and I mean, with it taking that long for either team to score, if the Buffalo team is not able to use this momentum to continue to score, this could just be the end of the game right here. But they still have to be able to keep their defensive pressure up and hold off Vancouver for the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that's a pretty tall order with the way Buffalo has been playing. I mean, this is unlike the Buffalo we've seen in the past for sure. It has certainly been night and day. Vancouver not quite sure how to respond to this one as over towards the box. Chris, he's next up to the batting play, but that is a pretty tough touch to work with. It's gone pretty far away from him. Now Turbid on target, no, slightly off, and he's not going to find the follow-up, but Chris will. And they've got the equalizer.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what happened there on the side of Buffalo, but we were seeing quite a few double commits, maybe just a little bit of miscommunication. But that's what's going to end up realistically giving away that goal, is the amount of double commits, putting them in awkward situations.
Yeah, a bit of a tough spot for them. But now they come out on the other side, Buffalo. What can they do now, Golfed? Ooh, a big bump here from Turbid. Might open things up for Vancouver. Chris sends it the long way. Blaise also in position to pick this one up in the corner with the corner boost to work with as well if he's able to get to it, but he's not going to be able to find the angle to take the ball in that path. Bit of an open spot here for Vancouver. Buffalo's looking to rush back. It's tough, and they can't quite do it. Vancouver, for the first time this year's Atlantis, they've got a lead.
Yeah, I mean, really well set up play from Vancouver, pass over off the corner to Turbid, and unfortunately no one from Buffalo quite able to get back. Buffalo just seeming to kind of get a little complacent this game.
Yeah, it almost feels like they came in saying, yeah, we got to do our part. We got to get our one game. And they got their one game. And now I don't know if they're going to continue to bring home that sort of pressure. But there's a big demo. And it looks like they're not done playing with their food just yet. Buffalo. Find a second.
Yeah, Peachy just going in for that demo. Open up net, and Secret just able to dribble it right in. I can't tell if they're playing to win or if they're just playing to have fun and torture the other team.
I feel like it's a little bit of both. I can't lie. There's definitely some pride at stake for Buffalo. And for Vancouver as well, who still look like they want to win this series at the very minimum. Turbid, a big one downtown, and that's going to put Buffalo in a bit of a tough spot as Golf goes and pokes it off of his own backboard. But he's also got Chris on the right side to work with, and that's going to do them justice. Vancouver for third.
Yeah, perfect pass from Bleh here over to Chris off the backboard, and couldn't tell who that was in net, but just wasn't quite able to reach the touch they needed, and it happens. You got to move on. You guys already took game one. You've already knocked them out of playoffs. Don't let a couple mistakes ruin the rest of your series. And they're definitely not going to. Secret coming in with a quick shot just right over the heads of the defense off Golf's pass. Chris got a little unfortunate touch, blocking the defender right there. So Chris can't actually even get back with his 0 boost.
Yeah, that was an oopsie daisy for Chris for sure. And it leads us to be equal once again, Vancouver. In a good spot to find an equalizer for this series if they don't let one more go their way. And they're going to be looking for now Vancouver. They've got really nothing to work with in terms of boost. Really only Chris does. So that's going to be a little interesting to see how this offense develops now that Chris has also used all of his boost. Blez up as well, but the initial touch is not going to go too far in Buffalo. Walkout for the most part unscathed with time ticking down. Looks like overtime might be in our sights.
I mean, this series has definitely started off as an interesting one. You got Buffalo taking that first game to hold off Vancouver from progressing, and now we've got a 3-3 overtime in game 2. It's like they're just out there putting on every shot they can and not really caring if it lands, but at the same time, just playing to have fun and protect their pride.
And it looks like they're doing a good job at that thus far. Now we get to overtime. It's on the line here for Buffalo. If they manage to take this goal, they will have themselves a match point in Vancouver. Certainly stressing now. Chris, he's backwards, but he does manage to find it to the right-hand wall. Chris dives deep once again. There's Turbid to pick up the pieces of Bleh as well. He's not found anything, but he does have a big follow-up here to work with Buffalo on the offensive as they look to get a possession to their name. Been pretty back and forth here in the midfield, and you got to imagine with the quality of the shooting tonight, one shot is all it's going to take to close down this overtime.
Yeah, I mean, the shots coming out have been really well placed. Both teams, though, playing a really solid defense to stop all the shots.
They have indeed. And now Vancouver is once again going to be put to the test. Awkward here, golfed off the backboard. No way, that's not good for a goal. It went off like 3 crossbars, bro. It hit like the top one, and then the right one, and then the top one again. So somehow Vancouver stay alive. Buffalo are not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, that was definitely a very strange series of events that kept Buffalo from taking the overtime right there on that shot. Now they're trying to figure out a way to get that back and actually put it in the net.
And to think Vancouver almost scored that counterattack as well. That would have been pretty unlucky indeed. And still Vancouver looking like the slight favorites in this overtime. I don't want to say anything too soon, but they do have more possession thus far. They are starting to win some challenges their way as well as Turbid pokes that one to the corner. He's got a follow-up in the field for Chris, but oh no, the pass can't quite connect just yet. And Buffalo live to see another day, another offense for them off the backboard. Peachy, no one go for him.
Yeah, unfortunate situation. Peachy wasn't quite able to get around it. Coming off the double demo as well, so they did only have one defender to beat. It does happen though. Just turn around, you play the defense, get it back on the side of Vancouver, and hope you can get the next shot.
And has he been keeping track of how many demos have happened? I feel like there's one every like 5 seconds that we don't quite catch. But the amount of demos is starting to get a little ridiculous as well. From both sides of the pitch, both teams are out for blood.
I have counted a total of probably 5 or 6 demos so far just this game.
Goodness. Yeah, there's been a good amount of hunting. And so far, it looks like Vancouver might be the favorites to take this. Oh, tough angle. Turbid trying to find the skim off the ground of his Fennec. don't think he's going to find it this time around. Buffalo, that's another one on target, turned away. Peachy there, but oh my goodness, that pinch has gone all the way into Narnia, and Vancouver are going to try to make the most of it.
A save and a half coming out from Peachy right there. Barely able to get it out of the net. Turbid passing it back to Bleh, who's going to try to send it back down for Chris. Is going to get a touch off corner, but Peachy's able to clear it back out. It's just back and forth gameplay right now. One team gets pressure, takes a few shots, and then it turns right back around for the other side. At this point, we are looking for a long overtime. You're already sitting at 3:47 in overtime.
Yeah, Berkey was like, I hope I get to go to bed early. I don't think that's going to be the case, Berkey. It looks like we're going to be strapping in for the long haul. Vancouver, it doesn't look like they're moving in it, and Buffalo stuck in between a rock and a hard place now. They're not going anywhere either. 4 minutes. Not 1 inch to be had. Bled turns that one away to the corner, and Vancouver on the defense for what feels like the millionth time in this overtime alone. That's 2 demos for Golf. He's deleting the pitch.
Yeah, I mean, this overtime has just been so well played by both teams, and at this rate, this keeps going.
Oh,
Golf is gonna put it in off a very interesting angle. Sitting pretty much not even on the sidewall, just cut it all the way across field. Any longer, if they made it to game 5, they would have played 6 games instead of 5.
not for real. 30 more seconds, and that would have done it for Double OT Buffalo. They got themselves a match point. And all of a sudden, it looks like they are the favorites to win this series, Vancouver. After that long overtime, you got to wonder whether they still got it in them, because that definitely takes the gas out of your tank. I'm counting up the demos. We got 8 from Vancouver, 8 from Buffalo, and Golf, of course, he saw him with that double demo there at the tail end to set himself up for that goal. Put Vancouver in a tough spot. He's certainly been out for blood.
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing it all night, though. The team that goes for the demo seems to be the team that wins. Buffalo, no different, just demo, and it's working out for him. Demos are definitely proving to be a very useful ability that teams just can't seem to counter right now.
Quote from the chat. Fun fact, if Buffalo sweeps every game in that group, has been a sweep with 1 game remaining. Let me verify this. Oh, actually, I can't verify this because I don't have Clef's sheet. Unlucky. I'll take your word for it, J-Mac. Game number 3 could potentially be a sweep for Buffalo here. Vancouver are not careful. See if they can figure it out now.
Yeah, I mean, so far this has definitely been a series to keep an eye on. Both teams playing wonderful. That overtime in the last game, essentially making this game 4, even though it is only game 3.
Yeah, you can imagine both teams are going to be feeling the burn now. Turbid looks like he doesn't want to go anywhere, though, in Vancouver. Trying to pick up some pieces from where they left off in game 2. Although they didn't come out with the win, they do at least have the ability to say that they kept the game quite close and within their reach, and they can potentially use that to their advantage. Buffalo, though, on the other side of things, feeling confident, and they might continue to march home with this series. Buffalo on the defense now. It's Gold. Came off with a huge win into overtime in game 2. He's going to try to do it once again in game 3.
Yeah, and I mean, no discredit to Vancouver either, especially in that last game. They played some excellent Rocket League, but right now, Buffalo just seems to be on fire.
Buffalo Wild Wings, he is on fire. Vancouver, see if they can do the same, see if they can replicate some of those results, but no one's there. What? It sailed across the goal line, but no one from Vancouver to punch it in. You got to imagine at least someone's going to be in position. Forget the shot. Turbid, he's going to try to make up for it now over towards the backboard. Chris, next up to the bagging plate. Now it's Turbid once again, and that's slightly off target. Vancouver, nothing seemingly going their way.
Vancouver's starting to pick up a demo for themselves too, but unfortunately, Buffalo right now, they're just on top of everything. They get a demo to try to clear out net, and before Vancouver has the time to shoot, Buffalo already has a player back in net and ready to defend it. But so far, Buffalo has put on very little pressure. We are seeing some now, but for the most part, this game's been Vancouver.
Yeah, it's been a tough one for Buffalo, but that being said, it's still an equal goal score line. Buffalo looking to change that. Secret Slender, he's come up empty, and that's going to open the door for Chris. You can also see Blett and Turbid in the midfield. Turbid has a fair bit of boost to work with, and he's got the placement to match. Vancouver, for the first time this series, they've got a lead.
Now, I mean, well played from Vancouver, putting on an immense amount of pressure at the beginning of this game, and the amount of demos they've already put on, it's working out in their favor. They're finally starting to come alive, it seems like, in this series. Not to say they weren't playing really well the last few games.
Ooh, once again, Buffalo hungry for that one goal comeback, about to hit halftime in regulation for game 3. And still Vancouver having to stay on their toes. One misstep means that Buffalo might close out this match point. Golfed, slippery set, that one's turned away. Turbid up quick, peachy awkward, and oh no, a disaster on the near post, Atlantis.
Yeah, I mean, just a very unfortunate situation. Peachy was just a little bit farther out of net and tried to get back into a better position. Turbid just putting it right off them and right into the net.
Vancouver, they're looking nice now. 2-goal lead for them. Blair's gonna look to add another. Peachy, he's not got any boost to work with. Colta's gonna have to pick up the pieces now as he looks to remedy this situation, but it's too late. Buffalo are bleeding and Vancouver has taken away all the band-aids.
Yeah, Vancouver comes back into this game looking like they did last game, but even better because they are able to hold the defense and quit giving Buffalo any goals.
Yeah, I don't know what happened here in between games 2 and 3. Vancouver turned on the lights and Buffalo sitting in the dark, so see if they can figure it out now. Golfed over from the sidewall. That's a big 50 win. It's going to allow Buffalo a little bit of breathing room to work with, but Secret Slender didn't get that midfield boost like he was hoping for, but it doesn't quite matter this time around. Buffalo still able to get another shot on target. That's a big backflip from Bleh. And Buffalo gonna be able to take advantage of that as they dive deep. Gold, he's looking for demos as well deep inside the net. Vancouver, big bounce right into the midfield. Bleh's up quick, but nothing's gonna come out of it. It is a battle of boom ball, and Buffalo look like they're coming out for at least another goal, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing one now, but we haven't really seen the demos this game from Buffalo like we did in the last two. And we're noticing Vancouver stepping up on the demos, and that's really what's the big change this match.
What? Wait,
I'm
how's he
sorry,
found
what
this
was that
angle?
shot?
I don't know. It's leaving me at a loss for words as well. The air roll to get it into the left corner. I mean, I don't know how he's found that angle. Usually if you get that on target, it's going to be top right or maybe top center. To sink it bottom left for that, I don't know how he managed to twist his octane to get that angle. Buffalo now stumped as well. A minute for them to figure it out, but it's safe to say that game number 3 is going to be one for the books.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo just looking to even get a single goal to start building some momentum into the next game. But the way they're looking right now, it's looking like they may not even get that opportunity as they do get it clear, but Vancouver has stepped their game up big time.
They certainly have. Well, Buffalo, that net is actually open for the picking, but well, not so much anymore as that one's turned away courtesy of Bled, who's nabbed the corner boost as well. That's going to force Buffalo. Oh, wait a second. It should have been a routine clear, but Vancouver is still going to be stuck in the woodwork. They break out of it now. Buffalo, no time left for them. Game number 3. Although they retain that match point, they're not going to find the sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those situations where they took the first 2 games, and I don't know if they got a little too confident, tried to back off on the demos, or if Vancouver just stepped up their game that much. But Vancouver coming in and absolutely shutting out Buffalo that game.
Absolutely. And we'll see. Buffalo and now. with this comeback opportunity in this series. Well, I probably shouldn't say comeback opportunity, but it still kind of does feel like one. With the amount of goals that Vancouver put up in Game 3, it all of a sudden looks like Vancouver could potentially find a reverse sweep, but still, very tall order for them. Still got to continue to execute and bring it along. Buffalo holding on to that match point. One misstep for Vancouver means game over.
Yeah, I mean, Vancouver came back. They're playing unbelievably well going into that third game, and playing game 4, we'll see if they can keep that up. Both teams, though, this is becoming a battle of attrition, so who's going to be the ones to tire out first?
Oh, bro, don't you mean tear out first? I'm kidding. I'm playing. Buffalo. I don't know. That's kind of a garbage joke. So it's okay if you didn't get it. Vancouver trying to take some possession into their name now. A little bit early here in Game 4, but it looks like Vancouver want to pick up right where they left off. Chris, a little bit of boost, but not much to get back to that ball. Buffalo in the corner, looking to do some damage as Peachy sends it the highway. Vancouver pick it off from the heavens, but it's a little bit slow from both teams. Gotta wonder what happened to the firepower at the end of Game 3, because this is a bit of a different game we're watching.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing a double commit coming out from Vancouver to open up the defensive end for them, and Peachy's able to sneak it past. But this game, just something's changed. Both teams are playing a lot slower, and I don't know. It could be this is Game 4. It's a bit later in the series. They could be starting to wear out. They could just be slowing it down and trying to see what play styles work at this point.
Yeah, I imagine that big overtime has probably an effect at this. Both teams starting to feel the burn now in Buffalo. They've got themselves a goal, and keep in mind that match point still looming over the heads of Vancouver. A little bit of time here in the midfield. Turbid from the corner. It's a tough touch to make, and he's let that one go by. So Secret Slender, she's got a second.
Yeah, I mean, perfect angle coming off Turbid, getting an unfortunate touch there and just not able to get back to it. Bleh, sitting middle of net, not quite able to get up, and Chris is just a little bit behind him.
Yeah, tough spot for Vancouver, but you saw how many goals they put up in Game 3. They might be able to replicate, and if they do, Buffalo will certainly be in a tough spot. Peachy, he's got a big beat from the corner, and Secret Slender has done it again. 2 goals for her here in Game 4, shooting at 100% in Vancouver. What on earth are they going to do now?
Yeah, Vancouver's starting to find themselves in an off spot, looking around the field there. No one really had that much boost on their side, and the people that did used it and weren't quite able to use it effectively in that situation. And if they want to come back, they got to figure out a way to use their boost a little more efficiently and get Buffalo off their side.
It's looking dicey now for Vancouver. After that performance in Game 3, it looks like they might have fizzled out. Buffalo pick up right where they left off from that Game 2, from that big overtime win. Vancouver looking for an answer. Here's Turbid. No flip off this reset. Bleh. Tough spot for him. He's going to have to let that one go in an absolute mistouch, but Bleh is able to pick up the pieces. Now a Secret Slender. 70 boost from the corner. Big touch infield, and she's also got both teammates waiting for her this time around to pick up the pieces. Golfed. Dives deep. But once again, relentless challenges from either team, and no one really able to take the upside.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of a slow start, but Buffalo starting to somewhat reappear as they did in Game 1. Holding off all the pressure, but Peachy able to get a wonderful save there. Just, it's unbelievable the way they started to bring it back from the beginning of this game being as slow as it is to now playing back like they did Game 1, where they're just unstoppable.
Yeah, I don't know. Vancouver, it looks like they ran out of gas. I think that's all there is to be said at this point. Buffalo running their victory lap, and if they get one more goal, it's pretty safe to say that the series is wraps. Vancouver still fighting though, but it's going to take a whole lot more than what they got going on right now. As Peachy continues to bear down, great bounce, for Buffalo to work with, and Golf is going to take advantage, but he's missed the mid boost, and as a result, he's not going to be able to get the angle that he wanted. Still Vancouver, although they are thanking their lucky stars, can't really say that they're going to be able to make this counterattack.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately for Vancouver, they played really good the last 2 games, and now Buffalo. Oh, wait, Slender taking her third goal. 100% shot accuracy at the moment, and just absolutely punishing Vancouver for what they did to them last game.
Yeesh. What a game for Slender to take a hat trick. I think it's safe to say that this series is done. Vancouver, oh yeah, they're out of steam. Buffalo running their victory lap now with a minute remaining. If Gold sinks this one in, which he will, it is certainly lights out. Vancouver, they got one game, but it looks like that's all they're gonna have.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate situation for Vancouver. They did come out, they played their best. Unfortunately for them, Buffalo's just on fire right now and completely unstoppable. They may have already been out of playoff contention, but that doesn't stop them from coming out here and playing and absolutely knocking Vancouver away from it themselves.
Yeah, they played their hearts out, and you can certainly see that on the pitch. Buffalo has been going full slend at every opportunity. Vancouver hasn't quite been able to respond, save for that game 3. That one's been turned away as well. A little consolation goal would have been nice for Vancouver, but they can't even have that. And Buffalo, with their laurels, their pride remains intact, at least for this series. Vancouver, a rather unfortunate end to their playoff contentions, as we saw at the end of game number 1. But since then, they managed to keep their heads up, and the fact that they managed to play and win a game after the fact, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and I mean, not just did they manage to win a game after, but they also were able to take an overtime almost 5 minutes before giving up a goal to lose it. So they have definitely played, and they played a hell of a series, but unfortunately just were not quite able to bring it back.
Not this time. It's going to be the gentleman's sweep for Buffalo as they close out our night. What a fantastic series from them, and especially all the series from before. So that's going to be it for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed just as much as I did Atlantis. Thank you for joining me on the desk.
Yep, you have a good night.
Right on, chat. Have a good rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow. There's some more playoffs games to be had. So same time tomorrow. We'll see you there.